Here we go. I even grappled on it to see if it was real and not a ghost. Oh my gosh. Wait, Prince, I thought you had it. It's amazing. With all you, as much as you've been watching me play it, I thought you had it. Oh my gosh, you crazy nut. It's awesome. You should get it. I'm still waiting to hear back from, gosh, I think her name was Rye. She was getting back, I have things in my inventory, my overflow inventory. If items are still in my inventory, overflow inventory, when the timer expires, they will be lost forever. Yeah, it's incredibly worth it. I would definitely get this game, like, if I didn't have it. Alright, so overflow inventory, look at that. There they are! I wonder where those were! So, earlier, I've been playing around with these stone braziers, and I couldn't, when I would place them, it wouldn't give them back to me. I'm using it's actually an older computer than my other, but it's better for this. If you have an SSD, it benefits a lot from it. Come here kitchen. Yeah, the one I have I built a couple years ago, but it is a couple of years old, so it's not like super recent or anything. So it was interesting, even though it wasn't like, I didn't have extra, like I still had room in here, but I guess the buggy items like went into my overflow, which is kind of strange. Okay, so first off, let me show you, I did a few things while I was playing earlier before I started streaming Starbound, and I'm getting a lot of lag, and I'm gonna guess it's TeamSpeak. At least that TeamSpeak's not helping. Wait, did like TeamSpeak just totally die? I think it might have. I can't even see Task Manager. It actually did. Oh. Well, that's outside my apartment, not yours. Don't worry about it. The sirens. So I had Adobe Premiere running in the background. Oops. That would not help performance. And in fact, I'm actually going to restart Landmark real quick just because I forgot to run as admin. So if anyone, actually I didn't check, maybe they fixed it. But how much did it cost? When I built this one, it was expensive at the time. It was like $3 grand. Yeah, my clothes, actually that was intentional. I took them off because on several patches when I've left the outfits on, they've disappeared and I never got them back, and I actually ended up having to use duplicates. So I took them off just to make sure that I wouldn't have to that I wasn't going to lose them. There we go. Much better. Yeah, I built mine a long time ago. Relatively. It was like 2010. Yeah, Charlie, exactly. They disappeared, and I didn't want that to happen with the ones I bought because I got some off the market. So I can show you. Frames are still low. I don't know why. Yeah! I got the White Colonist Encounter suit. Oh, and does it glow? Hold up. Okay, I have a lightstone, so there's that, but okay, hold on. Let me take off my lightstone because I want to see if it actually has a glow. Kind of. My shoulder pads are glowing, and my little buttons and stuff. It's kind of like Tron. Twitch keeps stopping. I've seen that happen occasionally on the preview, but it doesn't actually seem to happen when you guys are saying it's happening, so I don't really know what to make of that. Okay, so I have to move these again to get to the lights and turn them on. Oops. Oh, I'll do. It's my downside. This place I'm installing so many lights that getting to them is kind of problematic. Whoop. Let's just cancel that and then move this guy back. Yay. Okay. So there's that. Put some up here. That one. That one. Come on now, don't get poop. Come on. Oh, it keeps. Ah! There we go. And these three. Okay. Wow, all your elemental rubicide is totally gone? Someone else said that, but I thought it was just the bug. They were supposed to fix that. Oh my god, I forgot all about tweak mode. Hell yes, absolutely. And no, it's not fun to get elemental rubicide. I'll have to check that in just a moment. So this is what I was working on earlier. Put in some bottles, put in some accessories, like a little tray table or tray thing with like an ice bucket for like some champagne. Made these. This sort of looks like champagne bottles, kind of. These. Don't judge me. These were, they kind of look like eggs now, but they were meant to be bottles, but I couldn't, basically the smooth tool at the moment doesn't have a lot of steps between, it goes from like a little smooth to like super duper practically gone smooth, and so just, these will be bottles, okay? They'll be bottles. And I haven't figured out quite yet what to do with this, but I'll get there. So here's where we're at now. And then turn that on. And then did this over here. I just realized it needs light. But so this is going to be like a little office desk kind of deal. So I made this little clock, which doesn't actually move, of course, but you know, looks like a clock. It's got hands and stuff. And then some like books with like little bookends, and then like a potted plant or something. Sorry about earlier, playing Landmark is like a slideshow on my computer and my computer died. No! I wondered, I was like, did she like log early for the patch? I just came and now I gotta go to sleep. Oh, okay, bye! Bye, Era and Eremites. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yay! And so this is the other thing I did. So this was all, so I had burled wood on the countertops and then I had striped wood below. And you guys might remember me saying like I really wasn't liking how it was looking. Like it was a lot of wood coming at you and it was very, it was just kind of too much. And so I actually played around with tungsten, and at night it looks a little strange, but during the day it looks very, very much like a green countertop. Like a green granite countertop. So then I switched this to burled wood on the bottom. So, yeah. And now I'm thinking I may actually go ahead and start working on the ceilings. I'm a little hesitant just because you guys or a couple of you mentioned like doing stuff without the line tool. Like my first instinct was to do the line tool, or use the line tool rather. That was my first instinct. And everyone was like, well, you could do something else. And I was like, well, like what then? Because like how would I get ankles? But like clearly like the guy on Courage Basin, like he figured it out, right? Woo! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. All the wood. Oh my god. Oh shit. That's a lot of wood. Caps lock? Oh my god. I like marble in general. Thank you. Thank you, Silian. That's awesome, because I go through a lot of wood, because all the floors are burled, and this is all striped, so thank you very, very much. Yeah, they did just change that kegel, and just this last, make it tomorrow. They changed that in the in the hot fix. Oh my gosh, the tip of my nose is just like, so itchy. Like, it's just really, Cillian! Yay! I got it! Yeah, and by the way, for anyone's name who that I mispronounce, I promise I'm not trying to be like careless with your name. I'm just bad at it. And then it's like this, pressure! Get it right! And then I get it wrong. So it's just, I'm sorry. It's not my intention to be disrespectful. Look for your coal, and when you look for Rubicite to see if you're missing the icon port too. Well, they said it was just a graphical thing, like that was in the patch notes. Well, maybe it's actually graphically messed up here too. Like maybe it's supposed to be a different number and it's not. Maybe. Hi, Pookie. Hi, Pookie Pie. Hi. See, she never gets in the frame. She's the smartest kitty in the world because she doesn't want to get on camera. Let's see. Coal. How the heck do they put coal anyway? Coal is like a weird one. It's like one of these or something. Oh, what's Moonstone? They put in the icon for Moonstone. When did they do that? Honey Bunny, don't do that. Honey Bunny, don't do that. Honey Bunny, don't do that. You get the water. Okay. It's the ultimate weapon against a cat. Of course, it doesn't even squirt anymore. It's all mind games now. Like, it doesn't even, like, I have to, like, aim it sideways in order to get it to squirt. But it's good for two reasons. One, I don't actually get anything wet. And two, that means I can use it around the computer and stuff. Because it's not going to get anything wet. So, if you check your forage and under dynamite, you can see if you got coal. Good point. There you go. So yeah, I kind of want to work on the ceilings and just be like, forget it, I'm just going to use the line tool because it's all that I know, and I can get at least I can get a decent result. I can get the shape I want. I might get some artifacts and stuff. Hey Hawk Steve, how you doing? Put some lights on in here. It's all dark. It's like after every patch, it's like, oh, gotta turn on all the lights. Jury duty. So we reached a verdict on all three counts. So it puts the lotion on the skin and it gets the water bottle again. Oh my god. So we can talk about it now. We've been released from our silence. Fix the building still being there by reclaiming that part and then picking it back up. Nice. Sweet. Good. Let's see. What am I even doing? Dynamite? So the answer is yeah, I have a good chunk of coal. So it is a little baggy. I guess it's not in here anymore. It used to be in here. Weird. So basically, yeah, now I can talk about it, Charlie. So basically, as soon as we got in, and because they kind of tell you before they even do voir dire that it's like, you know, they tell you what kind of charges, because, like, for example, like if the person, you know, like sexually assaulted somebody, and you know, like if you have any personal like experience or any personal connection to like the crime, you know, they won't let you be a juror on that crime, right, or on that trial. And so, as soon as I looked at the guy, and as soon as they said that he was a meth dealer, or charged with being a meth dealer, I was like, oh my god, it's because this guy was an older gentleman he was an older gentleman with glasses, and he was bald, and he's very clean cut, and guess who he looked like? He looked like Walter White. So that gave me a good laugh. I mean, it didn't affect anything in terms of like, you know, decisions or anything, but basically it was extreme, like the evidence was completely overwhelming, and clearly it was pretty obvious what had happened is they had either one of two things. Either they had enough of a case where they decided not to even try to cut him a deal, you know, so we just figured, well, I guess we're going to trial, or like he decided, well, I'm so loaded from my drug money that I can just like totally afford to pay a lawyer for a trial I'll never ever win. Kaiser Soze, it's me. I'm playing. I'm the player. Was his lawyer named Saul? Because that would have been epic. No, it wasn't. He was charged with conspiring to sell meth, which he did to basically the detectives that were investigating him were kind of running out. They were investigating him, but they kind of hit a dead end, and so they're like, well, we're just going to text the guy and act like we're going to buy some meth. And he called within like 30 seconds, and then they set up a deal, and he basically sent his boy, his minion, to sell him some meth, and he did. It was like half an ounce, and then that was enough to then like get his phone records and search his apartment. The guy had freaking 100 grams of meth in his apartment, $13,000 in a backpack next to like some scales and like needles, and like he wasn't like not used needles, like baggies to divvy it up. And then they had like a vault key where he had $35,000, a scale, and some GHB. But it's all for personal use, right? it was pretty. And then, you know, on top of all the testimony of like, you know, like there was cell phone, like there was all the cell phone stuff, like, which was actually really interesting, listening to how they tracked the cell phones and stuff. Like it was talking about like different antennas and like the codes and the, like, it was all this really neat stuff, because they have to explain all that to you. You can't, I kind of assumed it would just be like, oh, some expert's going to testify the cell phone put him at this location. No, they have to like explain every little bit, like this is how we know it. Which was kind of interesting. Actually, it was very interesting. And it was at the end of the day, it was one of those like, I mean, the deliberations, we took about 45 minutes, because we went through everything to make sure, okay, here are the actual like legal requirements to convict this man of, you know, of, it was conspiring to sell meth, of, yeah, mob lord. It was pretty cool. Well, it wasn't through GPS, it was through the calls he was making. So it was off of like the cell tower, and then they could get the antenna and see which direction it was and kind of get a rough idea. It was that. But, and then the like call records in terms of like, you know, right after the deal, and they busted his buddy. They're tungsten. So right after they busted his buddy, he like called a cab and like freaked out and turned his phone off for like 5 hours checked his voicemail and didn't answer his phone for 5 days. His phone is off for 5 days. It was theory crafting. They make like 100 logs now, so you actually don't have to convert that many. That's just a temporary fix, just so that people can test stuff. It's not going to be like this forever, but the logs now, if you it makes 100 each time. So yeah. Well, they were talking about, like, basically it wasn't for a specific location, because they didn't have to put them, it was just kind of corroborating the fact that, you know, he completely crossed town to, like, he completely crossed town to do this deal. It was corroborating the fact that he was in the area when the deal went down, probably waiting to get his money. You know, so it's, yeah. Doing one at a time was the worst possible thing I've ever seen in a game ever. It took me like 4 or 5 hours to get all this done. Oh my god. Yeah, I sat here for probably 20 minutes and I converted a whole bunch. But I figured, well, if I need more, I'll just come and do it later. Yeah. I'm not entirely... I can only assume that the planks are going to be more like part of a system that they just haven't implemented yet. That the reason they're converting to planks, it's part of something, a larger system. That's what I'm assuming at this point, because at this point it kind of seems like a time sink, like an unnecessary time sink. I'm assuming that there's going to be more to that. Although I actually haven't, and it's probably a good time to check this out because it's nighttime. I like to chop wood at nighttime because it's harder to do house things. But it's probably a good time to check out what the deal is with trees and stuff. So long story short, basically we were out for like 45 minutes, trying to be thorough, trying to make sure, okay, every single like legal requirement to each of the charges, with conspiring to sell meth, having, purchasing or possessing meth with intent to sell, and then having over $25,000 worth of basically drug money. And so did all that. Took a while just to make sure, like, okay, we're really, really sure this isn't, like there's no other explanation. We're basically ended up like, no. And so that guy was guilty of all three. And he was actually surprised. I was surprised to see him surprised. Because like especially the first one, that was the one that was sort of iffy. And like they read, the clerk read it and his eyebrows shot up like he never expected that. I'm like, really, dude? Like, you didn't kind of see that coming? Oh, look, the particle ghosting is back. Hey, Chromie 1980. Moblord says, according to Dave, there's going to be a mass convert on wood, but they released this part of this update earlier than the new SIFT type station. But in the meantime, enjoying the extra wood. Sweet. Cool, we're getting some extra particle effects. Just, some cool pow-pow glows. Oh, I should be on the wood tab actually, see what I'm getting. So, plain wood log and heartwood. I know so the deal is with heartwood. So, hey Berk Dave, how you doing? So I know different trees drop different stuff. Like desert trees are the ones that drop rolled wood down. Stripe wood comes from, I thought, like, at least some of the trees here in like old growth and tundra. I'm actually gonna try tundra. Swing by Shikoka's place. She's not in game right now or anything. She's playing Starbound. Kind of ditched her, but she knew it was coming. But yeah. Brick Dave, I was just talking about it. Basically, was a meth dealer. Oh, the other thing. So it was a meth dealer. We found him guilty on like all 3 counts. Looked like Walter White. I swear to God. What was hysterical too is the prosecutor was the spitting image of Harvey Dent, or Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent in Dark Knight. Talked like him, looked like him, dressed like him, kind of his style, like very like super confident, like maybe not arrogant per se, but just that like super confidence. Like if had someone pulled a gun on him, I could kind of see him, you know, like punching the guy in the face. Like it's just kind of hysterical. Or it's just like, and like one of the undercover cops came in and he was like, you know, they explained like why he was like in undercover attire. And oh cool. Wait, I'm seeing claim boxes now? Why am I seeing claim boxes now? Oh, okay. And his shirt was Falcone Brothers, and I was just like, oh my god, it's like the crime family in the Batman series, the more recent Batman series. Did you know there's an actual Walter White that was making meth in Alabama? Yeah, so this snowy area, Charlie, this is the tundra. This is the one that, or the, this is the biome that was released in last Thursday's patch. So it's the tundra. My new claim is in the old forest biome, which also was released last Thursday. This is tundra. It's a little snowy and pretty and white. Looks like someone's been up to Arches, possibly. Doing stuff. They reverse which type of wood comes from which type of tree. Yeah, so yeah, basically stripe wood, instead of coming from desert trees, stripe wood is going to come from like pine trees-ish. And then burled wood that's going to come from desert trees, which is the reverse of what it was. So I don't know if this, okay, so this is getting burled, like all burled, like pure burled. Just finished my rubicite axe. That's good because they changed how rubicite works, so that's good. Are you tired of snow crumbing? Are you snowed in where you live? I know Geek Domo was mentioning that when he was like, "There's no way I'm gonna go to a tundra zone because he's like, I see enough snow. I'm getting snowed in constantly." I was like, oh. So heartwood, I guess you get with every tree now. It's like you get at least one per tree, regardless of tree type. And then you can get like extra stuff. The county I live in supposedly has this highest or second highest number of meth labs per capita. Great! Or county. I've lost neighbors on both sides of me to SWAT raids. Alrighty then. Yeah, my hometown is in Central California. It's like it's like that. It's one of the meth capitals of the country, which is kind of mind blowing. And I wasn't in I wasn't in an area that really had a particular problem with it, but it was just sort of like whenever they did like Dare Week or whatever, they would spend extra time on meth stuff because there was like there's a much higher chance that you'd encounter it or whatever. Mom, do you live in Kentucky? Says Shendow. Does Kentucky have a particular meth problem? That was the other thing, right? Because we're trying to judge all this stuff, and thank God they actually. Oh, Missouri, Jefferson, and Lincoln counties used to be number one. Yeah, we're number one. Well, my old hometown used to be the number one in the entire country for red light running. So, you know. Not far from San Luis Obispo. It's not San Luis Obispo, but yeah, it's near there. You guys make it, our Canadian mayors smoke it. God. And yeah, I love my outfit. I feel like I'm in like a pinky or orangier version of Tron. It's like instead of everything being ice blue, it's like kind of orangey peach. Moonshine isn't as profitable as meth these days. That's worrisome. But yeah, what I was saying is just like I've just never and this is not because I've been a prude or anything, just I've never really encountered people who've had problems with drugs. I've just never, it's just kind of luck of the draw. My friends haven't, maybe some pot, but not like anything more than that, right? And so I have zero like experience with like, you know, the first cop comes in and starts testifying, well, I ordered half a zip, and I'm like, half a walla, you know, like, and I'm like, but thankfully they defined everything, and of course we had no kind of reference for like, well, okay, you know, you're saying you're ordering half an ounce, well, is that a lot? Like, is that enough to get high? And they're like, yeah, that's enough to like get high and overdose. Like, yeah. Oh no, it's no problem. Escape reality. Yeah, it came from Fresno, California. It's Central Cali. No one. It's amazing because it's like the third largest city in California, and yet no one really knows where it is or what it is, which is kind of funny, but it's also kind of deserved because basically, like, I'll describe it, and then people will be like, yeah, it's like, yes, I'd like to buy two drugs, please. That's me if I bought drugs. Yeah. I don't even know where I'm going anymore. I'm going this way. I want to see if Tess has built anything. 2 drugs, please. Yeah. But it was just it was a very interesting experience, and it was very much like it was very much parts of it were so much like, you know, just plucked out of Law and Order. Like, you had the, you know, the defense attorney like throwing objections left and right, and then the drug would get all pissed and be like, overruled, you know. Like, it was so funny. Like, you know, and that stuff, of course, you can't like use any of that stuff. Like, you can't actually use any of that. Like, nothing the lawyers say is evidence. You have to completely pretty much ignore them unless it just helps you understand the questions, you know. Like, but it was just hysterical. Like, you know, and then the judge is over there like chewing with his mouth open. Although apparently he's like the high profile judge. Like, if there's any high profile cases around here, it goes to him, or they go to him. Which is kind of interesting. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, nothing built here. I guess I could have checked my map, but I wanted the surprise. She's got like the best, like, an incredibly great view though. And I think she's absolutely right. If she's able to get this claim again when it goes to beta, whenever we get water, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a lake. Like, that really looks like it's going to be a lake. The way it dips and it's sandy, I really think so. Ari, you mentioned Tron. Which movies do you like better, the original or the 2012 version? I've only seen parts of the original Tron. I haven't seen the whole thing. And my memory of it is just not enough to really judge it. The newer Tron, I feel like, as much as I enjoyed it and I like the concept of it, it's not a movie that I want to watch over and over and over. Like, I don't consider it a classic in that sense. It's not like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or any of the other, you know, like, you know, it's not a movie I can watch over and over. It's good though. Hey, drunk enough. Hey, drunk. Alright, gonna head back to my plane. I wonder why I don't see this tower. Maybe I do and I just don't notice it. The Neutron, basically the best Daft Punk music video ever. The music is quite, I like the music. It's not, it works very well for the movie. It's not good standalone music. Like, I actually listen to movie scores. Like, that's probably my favorite type of music. You know, it's just what I like. And good movie scores can stand on their own and be interesting on their own, but if you've seen the movie, a good score is detailed enough that you can pretty much picture. Like, if I play the Dark Knight soundtrack, I can see every single shot in my head. And that's not because I have a fantastic memory. It's just that the musical cues are really are really great, and the emotion of the music is just really, really amazing. Yeah, Hans Zimmer, love Hans Zimmer. Love James Newton Howard. There you go, James Newton Howard. Howard Shore, of course. John Williams, obviously. Love, love, love all of them. And for different reasons. Like, John Williams is insane in his ability to develop, like, themes. His themes are insane. Like, I mean, this is kind of it's such a good example, it's almost a bad example. But the second you hear the Imperial March, you know exactly what's going on. You know exactly who's on screen, right? But he also has, like, James Horner is another one. He's quite good. You know, you can hear, like, Leia's got her own theme. Freaking every character has their own theme, and then there'll be a theme for the two together that's different from them apart, and it's just like Oblivion. I've seen the music actually for that one didn't particularly stand out to me. In fact, the whole movie kind of just didn't really stand out to me. It felt like a sort of a Tom Cruise vanity movie. Yeah, Mithril's not in game. John Hellman, it's not in game yet. He mentioned it, I think, as sort of preparatory for whenever they do release it. John Williams or bust. But John Williams is not, I mean, and people get mad when I say this, but compared to some others, like, he does the best theme, he does themes with the best of them. I mean, you know, like, you hear the Quidditch theme, you know exactly what's up. You know, you hear Hedwig's theme, you know who's on screen. And so it's sort of like, you know, there's that, but at the same time, am I going even towards the right place? Am I going home? But his action sequences are actually, he relies on some, you know, they get the job done, but they're not particularly like innovative, I guess. You know, and I'm not hating or anything. He's amazing. His action sequences tend to get, his action sequences from Jurassic Park sound a lot like the action sequences from, what's the one? Attack of the Clones, almost identical. The chase scene in the speeder in Attack of the Clones, the early one, sounds almost identical to Jurassic Park. I want to say it was like the third track. I don't remember what it's called though. But his themes are insane. Whereas Hans Zimmer does these crazy, like, swelling, like, super emotional, but he also has like every single movie he does has this very, like, slowly building, like, track, which is usually really intense by the end. Like, there's one in Dark Knight, there's one in Pirates, there's like one in every single one. Inception, yeah. I'm like finished, but Time by Hans Zimmer of Inception is the single, but I disagree. It's good, but it's not the best. And it's so incredibly geeky, it's adorable. What can I say? I don't know. Alright, so we're back home, and now it's light enough that you can kind of see what I was doing. So this is what I worked on earlier. I got sort of these accessories in here, and you can kind of see them a little better now that it's light. Again, the bottles just don't even, like, until they add a few more smoothing levels to the smooth tool, these aren't really going to get too great. Sent you a private message. Okay. Corbincade. That's why I wrote it down as Carboncade, and you didn't exist because I tried to send you your code, and I was just like, man, this Explorer Pack code is cursed. Like, you know, just doesn't want to find a home. But okay, yeah, I'll send you a message with the key afterward. Carboncade, I haven't forgotten. I just didn't have a chance today to go through and research and watch the video and figure out what your name was. Or like how I mistyped it. Oh, this came out a little different. This was, yes, Hans Zimmer did Gladiator. Yeah. Just appreciate her now, because when a man comes around and steals her heart, she won't be on as much. Oh, God. She got like 3 minutes. Did I? Did I? Unless, of course, he is a gamer. Ah, yeah. Oh, God. Okay, so... This looks funny before it loads. Oh! Oh, we don't have the right texture at all. Let's fix that, shall we? So, Era, please tell me of the bottles standing on the top shelf. I hope those are not wine or champagne bottles. Are you about to drop some fat knowledge of wine bottles on me? I feel like that's where this is going. You're just gonna be like, Era, honey, that's not how bottles look. You're gonna like tell me like, actually, is that where this is going? If it is, like, lay it on me, because I want to hear it. You hear that sigh? I know that sigh. I can almost hear the heart. You totally missed one of them from someone on your click. What, really? You can almost hear the heart breaking. That's a new one I gotta propose to, and I didn't even know it. It's kind of like, oh man. Oh. It's a sobriety post. Alright, Dutch Tiger. I'm waiting for it. What's wrong with my bottles? What's wrong with my bottles? They're pretty big. Is that what's wrong with them? They're pretty large, these bottles. Of course, these bottles are actually even bigger. There's that sigh again. I'm waiting on Dutch Tiger. I want to know what's wrong with my bottles. They're not, maybe these aren't like the prettiest bottles you've ever seen. Oh, it's going to tell you not to store your wine bottles, and you're supposed to put them sideways. Okay, well, I can fix that. Okay, guys, I don't drink wine because or anything, just because I used to have a fantastic tolerance. Much vertical. Actually, I was asking because the wine and champagne should never be kept like that. You should lay them down, or you'll ruin the wine and champagne. Okay, I'll turn them over. I didn't know. Yeah, like I can't drink just because I used to have a pretty fantastic tolerance. But nature just decided that was not to be, and so I developed some really lovely conditions that basically make it so that I dehydrate incredibly easily. And in fact, every single morning, just because of having not had water all night, I wake up nauseated and like super dehydrated, like needing immediate fluids. It was really amazing trying to figure that out, like what was going on there. Anyway, it means no alcohol for me because it's just one glass of wine gets me retarded. Paint them red, make it rum. I could paint them red. Okay, I'm gonna add. Actually, that's too far out. Not that far. Can't tell. Oh, we can do. Hold up, we can do tweak mode. Oh, the power of tweak mode. Yeah, shift clicked it, and then you can just tell it exactly where you want it. Oh, so good. That's why we're here to educate you. It's all right. I don't drink much either. I haven't drunk alcohol in the past half a year. Nice. Yeah, fire truck's outside my place. I'm sorry. I tried it. When I think of it, the police are coming for you. Chandao, do you have any idea how many doctors tried to test me for that? Do you have any idea? Because this has been going on for the last 10 years, right? So, starting when I was like maybe 15, 14 really. And so it's like, do you have any idea how many doctors have been like, well, have you tested yourself? And I'd be like, I must be giving birth to like an elephant, because not even an elephant 5 times over, because it's like Oh, God. So irritating. Oh, I did have them sticking out that far, I guess. I guess to avoid the smoothing thing, which makes sense. They used to stick out a lot, though. And I liked the height. I can't have, yeah, I'm allergic to coconut as well. Which I guess is a kind of rare allergy. But it doesn't bother me that much because I don't like it. Era, have you noticed the shoulder pads change colors in the dark? I've noticed they glow in the dark. Do they change colors? Sick in the morning, gotta be knocked out. Throwing those 10 years of doctor schooling out the door. Yeah, it's amazing how many times I think people, like the doctors, would hear that and just completely disregard anything beyond that and just be like, well, until you've been tested, like, we will not proceed any further. And it's just like, you know, and I understand they're trying, you know, that's probably very common for them to see, and so I understand where they're coming from, but it was just kind of irritating because it's just like, please, you know, I was like, can we just get past this? Can we, like, not? Can we not? You know. But yeah. Unfortunately, because what the deal is basically it's autoimmune stuff, and so until they figure out how to better understand how the immune system works, not going to be knocking back many drinks. If by allergic you mean a really strong dislike, I'm allergic to coconut also. That's awful. Era, have you oh, they white to orange to light red. Oh. I noticed that they were very sort of pinky orangey, but I didn't realize they changed colors. Birthday, that's what I took issue with too. I was like, I guess nowadays it does happen, which is really sad. So I guess they gotta be thorough and stuff. But yeah, I was like, especially at 14, where I was just like, man, you know, especially once I've been like, no, you know, no, I don't, doctor, I don't think that's what's going on here, doctor. I wish I didn't have to have them sticking out that much. How could I? Dave, you've never seen the Maury Povich show? Dave's like, no, sorry, I work day shift. Oh god. Let's see, what do I tried to put a red label, a ruby label on these, but it actually was so gemmy. It didn't really. Does that look legitimate? I don't know. This looked a little questionable to me. It totally made me think of that the elephant in Tarzan. Looks questionable to me. Ah! Yeah. Speaking of work, I got fired for something that wasn't even my fault. What happened? Silly, what happened? Also, I stand by my original assessment of these barrels. They need to fix that. They're poopy green, which I could handle, but there's like no color variation. There's no hue variation in here. We need some. These need some work. I hope you can file unemployment, because at least that'll help a little, right? I haven't changed anything in here. Okay. I'm trying to get oriented. I got my schedule emailed to me and I had 0 hours, which is fine. I've had some 0-hour weeks before, but apparently I was actually scheduled for 3 days, so I didn't show up and they fired me. Oh. I should put a Jack Daniels label on the barrels, or a big black 7. I can't put a 7. I've only got one voxel. I was thinking red because it would pick up the towel. That's really like what I was thinking. I'm thinking colors. I don't know. Want some more wood? No, I'm all right. I'm good. Thank you though. Thank you though. But microvoxels still, you can't like. It would change the shape of the bottles, which I don't really want to do. Hey Era, just finished streaming. Sorry I didn't get a chance to penguin raid you. Oh, it's okay, Penguin Cheek. Glad you're here. So, and then I worked on these, and I actually did some microvoxels, actually. Did my clock, these are just props, but then these are microvoxels, did some microvoxel books to get them, like, thinner, and, like, little, I guess, what are bookends. If anyone wants to send me some burled wood, I'm open. Frank, oh, to the barrels! On the barrels! Gotcha. I gotcha now. Okay. Do they need labels? Do they label barrels? I was on the phone with them today and they said I'd have to talk to HR, so I'll be doing that tomorrow, but it's basically up to them. Oh. Well, I hope that works out for you. Then I started working on the kitchen a little bit, but then the server was going down, so I stopped. That's looking nice right there. Huh, those colors are good. I like that. Especially with like the really warm light. Good. I don't know. Yeah, burled wood is actually pretty easy to come by now. Basically, if you go to any tundra and chop down trees, every wood drop is burled. So it's closer to like a Minecraft system now, where different trees drop different wood. If that makes sense. I'm still out on, whether I like this though. I'm bummed. Spent $2,000 on new carpet from Lowe's. Well, the order was right, but the color was wrong, so I gotta meet with the sales guy tomorrow since he's off today. Shoot! Well, at least the order was their screw up, so they'll fix it, right? I mean, if you can show that what you ordered is what you ordered, I mean, a big company like that's probably gonna set it straight, yeah? Was it like purple? The floor is covered in padding? So Lillian's kind of like, can I have your carpet? 4 barrels of old number 7? No, that's a serious drinker. Crashed and says trying to log on in 20-30 minutes. Nevi, try completely closing out of it and then try again, because usually 20 or 30 minutes means it's hot fixing. Now, if I've noticed this has happened before where some people were not able to get on, but if you were already on, it didn't like kick you off. And if you try again a little bit later, it'll work. Your cat threw up all over yours? Oh. Why is your cat throwing up so much? Okay, I guess I should put this door, like do a thing with the door. I've kind of been wanting to, I actually kind of want to do this in iron, even though it kind of makes no sense. Yeah, I got Old Cats 2, ordered Stainmaster. Those rug doctors are actually pretty good. My mom has one of those for her. She's had a couple old dogs. It was actually pretty good. Oh shoot, oh, that's okay. And I kind of want to... Is there a division? Yay, there is. Actually, I think I'll just do that one voxel. If we had glass doors, these would be glass doors. But we don't have glass doors, so these are not glass doors. How much of a drinker would you have to be to save money getting it in a flipping barrel? Pretty serious drinker, I'd imagine. Haven't seen your cat all night. Is she around? She must be taking a nap. I don't know. She was up in her tree, but I haven't seen her. Actually, no, she was on stream earlier. She's a gobbler, just gobbles up all her food because I got her from the Humane Society. She eats too quickly because she's used to competition. Oh. Yeah. My aunt had she used to get rescue dogs, and they always had that problem just because they are used to having to really like eat their food fast, or someone else will, or another dog will. Okay, so what do I want to work on right now? What do I want to work on? This is looking kind of limey in this light, but in general, I think it really looks like a nice dark green granite, so I really like it in general. Makes me feel bad because I used to buy wine by the case. That's not the same as buying it by the barrel, though. Is it? I don't know. The only thing about doing these in tungsten is that it kind of means that I have to use props for decoration, because what I've been finding is that pretty much anything, there's certain materials where pretty much anything will bleed with it. Don't click the link. Don't click the link, it's nasty. That's actually the first spam I've ever had in one of my chats. It's crazy. 12 bottles, a year and a half bottles. No judgment here. Why is this so difficult? Why do I want to... Let's go this way, I guess. Oh wait, can you... What is this? If you click on this block, you're now large enough of a channel to attract spammers. Yay! Sweet. I was looking at your other Modern House videos. They all look awesome. Thank you! Someone's getting popular. Yeah, I guess! I guess. I thought about it. I probably should have shut the stream off and then restarted when I went from... Oh, and hey, Wick. I haven't seen you tonight. I probably should have restarted the stream when I went from Starbound to EQNL, so it'll retweet, but... Air's the coolest girl gamer I know. Stays home on Friday nights to stream games. You betcha. Yep, Air's getting more and more popular. She's awesome. I cannot believe last night that we hit 114 was the final max that I hit. I can't even believe that. Like, I just realized today's a month from the first day that I ever... It wasn't really a stream. I basically just used Twitch as a way to record my house tour for like the very first Modern House that I did. And I did that twice, but February 14th was the day I did that. Eric Gaming is the first streamer on the splash screen on the loading screen for EQNL. Yeah, I think it's... I don't think that was actually like ordered by popularity or anything. I think they just wanted like visual balance. I think that's what that was. And I'm making a really weird face. I'm like... But, you know... I think they just screen capped it because I didn't have any pictures from like that. When I found out I was on the launcher, I think it was Cold Night maybe that told me. And I was on the launcher and I was just like, what? I still think it's pretty darn cool. All right, so hopefully we can find something that's not gonna bleed. I really want like, see, even that blood. Not too bad, but it's bleeding. What else is there besides gaming on Friday and Saturday nights? Indeed. I'm internet famous. I don't really know. not like that shape. That's not a... I do want I want something right here though. Maybe, ooh, I know what I could do. I know what I could do. I could do this. I could, not this, made this, but up here and little. Maybe like that little. Like that. I need it like that. As long as it's hidden enough, that's all I really care about. It's not really hidden, is it? I guess I could do two of them, like have a high one and then have like a lower one over here that's like... I could do that, like, and have like a little... Okay, let's do this, guys. Let's do this. Alright, so... What's like... I don't know, like ruby. Ruby would be a good one. Ruby. Oh shoot, chat went fast. Hold up. What else? Try silver. It'll bleed. Era, did you have to buy EQN or did they give me a copy? Oh no, I got it. So I started EQN before I started streaming at all. Malport says, I geeked out the first time I talked to the Dave in stream, but then it turned out he was in all the streams. Probably this one. Hi, Dave Georgeson. Yeah, I don't think he's here tonight. Although, I will say that, look, the first time that he graced my chat, which was really exciting to me, still is really exciting. Whenever the devs are here, I just love that. But the first time he did that, like I was talking about how he was on the stream, on Yumino stream the night before, and answering questions, and I was like, oh man, I had this question I totally meant to ask him. I was like, I totally meant to ask him. I'll have to ask him next time he's around. And he's like, I'm here now. And I'm like, what? I was just like, are you kidding me? Like I knew, I was like, you know, if I was a viewer in this chat, I would totally think that was like staged, but it wasn't. That actually looks cool. It's not really what I'm going for, but it looks like that could be used in something else, like some sort of alchemy kind of thing, huh? Plants. I've got a lot of plants. I've got this one over here, and then I've got this one right here. I'm excited. I'm excited that Landmark is going to be free to play. In addition, a part of the All Access plan in April. Since I'm a lifetime legendary member of DCUO, I will get all the games to play free as premium for the life of DCUO. Nice. Can you make a lazy student turntable thing and put some crap on it? I could actually turn a table upside down, like, or right side out, and get like a little, like, platter thing. Gotta talk to him about his early video game history. He got introduced to arcade games with Donkey Kong machine at like a laundromat. Really? It's pretty intense. So what I was going for is actually more like an apple bunch. But I don't know if I'm gonna get there. Because I don't think I'm gonna get there with this. But I can try it. Oops. For some reason it didn't come out as, oh, it's because I'm copy and pasted. Derp-a-derp. I paid $200 at launch of DCUO and never have to pay $15 a month. Nice! And get free content of the life of the game. Cool. Oh wow, and 500 station cash monthly for free? That's a pretty good deal. Make a small cat, just put it in the corner looking out the window. Oh. This would be okay, but it needs to be down. It looks too, like, weird having it up like that. Okay, so let's try this again. Something like that. Does it show a little bit? I can just move it over though. So it doesn't show. Still doesn't show. Oops. Seems to be right there and still won't show. That's pretty good. Oh, did that really? Did I really just do that? I forgot about tweet mode. Tweet mode troll. But to answer the original question, yeah, I totally paid for this. I didn't get a copy because I wasn't even a streamer at that point. And when they give me stuff, it's not for me. It's for you guys. It's for me to give away. And yeah, so I wouldn't like use it. I still don't have a Prime Grappler. No! The bleed. Oh, you know what I could do though? Is I actually could make another table. And like, actually, I wonder what the top of the, no. So I could make a table and like put it the other way around and get a little platter. I might do that. So let's move this guy. Let's like get him good and stuff. And then to fix the like blood on the freaking counter, maybe try a table. Can you make small red spheres? Is she real? What? Am I real about what? I am real. Pink. No, I don't have one, Cillian. I'm okay. I have a blue one. Look it. I have this guy. I'm good. It's always such a gamble knowing how much you'll play a game to justify paying for a lifetime up front. For example, I regret nothing, or I regret not doing that with Lord of the Rings Online, as I wound up spending much more on that game. But how was I supposed to know at the beginning? Yeah, I tried Lord of the Rings Online at the beginning, and I really didn't care for it. Don't exit the game. The patcher isn't letting people back in. Oh, I guess they're like hot fixing stuff. Usually that does go away in like 20 minutes. So what was I getting? Oh, the table. That's what I was doing. No. So again, it's not. Yeah, I can. I had another one offered to me. Don't worry about it. I have a code that's basically one of my viewers actually gave me this code saying like, you know, either redeem it or give it away. And I was going to give it away, but I can use it. Like, so I have one available to me that's not from SOE. So don't worry about it. It's okay. Chindao says, I have all the best crafting tables and harvesting tools in the game, but can't build anything. I tried, but got frustrated after 10 minutes the week of the alpha release and haven't done anything past 4 walls and a floor. Have you tried someone else's tables? That's one option. Also, I would try stuff with like raw mats, like so that you wouldn't have to like not multi-step stuff. I played the original EQ since beta and used to pay in 2-year increments but I don't think they ever offered lifetime, or I would have done that. Wow. New to Twitch for only a week now. I would like to know how to do those little smile icons everyone uses. It's just like the usual like colon and a like colon and parentheses is like a smile. In terms of like custom emotes, I don't have any of those personally because I'm not a partner and so I don't have subscribers, so I don't have custom emotes. I think to be a partner you have to have like 500 concurrent viewers on average, which I'm super duper excited that we hit 114 last night. Like, that put me over the moon, but we got a little while to go. Spank702, hi. So what was that? Small wooden table? Is that what? Do I have any extra rubicite? Probably. How much do you need? Actually, rubicite's over here. I have like 5,000. How much do you need? Okay, so this small wooden table, it has like a thing on it. I don't really want, what do I want? Oh, actually, maybe this one. Don't really know. Yeah, so the ones that people have that are really different, like, someone's face or whatever, those are the ones that like become available to subscribers. And once you can use them, like, say, like, if you subscribe to Geek Demo and you get the like Omid face and stuff, like, if you get them on his channel, then you can use them anywhere else, which is why you can see them. Like, some people can still use them in mine, but it's not my smileys. They're not, like, yeah. Trying to get the 2 new axes, and Mecha needs a pick. Okay, cool. Oh, new axes! I totally forgot about that. I'll have to check that out in a second. Yeah, I completely and utterly forgot about that part. Let's do this. What? Okay, so everything's been, like, I said warping in. Everything's been coming in at a really weird angle. Like, off-grid. Unintentional use of Eve terms. Oh. Not what I intended. Not what I intended. I should shift click. I'm so like not in that habit. Shift click. Shift clicking. Let's cover the blood. Covers the blood. Now we just gotta be artistic about it. So I'm just gonna put it down just a bit more because it's got this like metal rim, which isn't like quite ideal. There we go. Very cool. Yeah, it has like a thing in the middle, but I don't know. Yeah, Spank, so basically if you are trying to log in as of in the last like 15 minutes or so, people are getting that error, but it shouldn't. If you try again in a little bit, it should. Don't uninstall. It's temporary. Like, I have Tess, my friend, had that happen to her before, where basically I think what's happening is they are actually actively like doing like a live hotfix, and basically once that's finished or whatever, it'll let you on, where it's not kicking people off that are already on, but it's not going to let new people on. I think that's what's going on. So definitely don't reinstall. I need to get some water or something. Tea would be good. Is it late for tea? 8:16. 8:16. Could I do tea? It's Friday night. I could do tea. It's like giving into my dark urges of tea drinking. Oh. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna, if I can spit the words out, I'm gonna just brew some tea, and I'll be right back. If in doubt, knock one out. Don't get dehydrated. It's never too late for tea. Yeah, I have your approval. Okay, cool. I'm going to just real quick brew some tea. Yeah, burp. And if the stream dies when I go to AFK, I'll be back. It's been a little uppity. Tea as good as any hour, unless it keeps you up all night. Go get a Dairy Queen Blizzard. Oh, I wish I could. Actually, you know what I get? I get a caramel frappuccino. If I was going out, but I'm not going to. It's fun to watch Bill. She has a lot of quirky things that happen. Quirky things, aka mistakes. I don't know. Okay, Wick says you can probably get in now, so try again. Okay, burp. All right, we are back. So I'm just catching up a little bit on the chat. So I guess the login is still not quite working yet. So if you're in game, like, don't log out right now. ArcGlitch TV. It's basically, I think that they're actively hotfixing the servers right now, and so it's not kicking people who are already on, but it will prevent new people from logging on. So I think that's what's going on. And no, the AFK music is not from a game. It's like original music. I got it from Machinima Sound. I don't remember the name of the guy who composed it, but I bought the license for it so that YouTube won't yell at me and tell me that I'm using illegitimate music or anything like that. So, Wick says, just keep hitting retry. I just got back in. Yeah, SOE can do hotfixes. I believe. So, kind of want to, like, what happens if, what happens? Not really what I want, is the answer. Oh, kitten! Sounds just like a song from Mass Effect 2. It sounds like a, that's what a hotfix is, yeah, fixing while live. They've used the word hotfix to, in some of the more recent patches that are meant, when they mean just sort of quick patches, but they pull down the servers to do it. So it's not, I don't know. It's not what I would usually think of as a hotfix, but. Is that Cricket? It is Cricket. I was like, there we go. Yeah, I really want things. Yeah, Wick, they, basically it's the result of they didn't like that people, since people were converting like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 logs at a time, and it was taking hours to do that, they just kind of temporarily, for the purpose of alpha, they've just been like, you know what, we're just going to basically massively increase what you get from conversion so that you're not having to do that, but it's not going to stay that way. I'm just going to perform it real quick. And I remembered to unmute. Yay! I Hump Whales. That's a new one. Hi. I decided to play it safe. I went with a white tea. Hopefully I won't. I feel like that's the Insanity Wolf meme, Knows it's 9 o'clock. Makes black tea! Like, I don't know. I know what I need to do right now. I know I need to work on the roof. And it's just like, I don't want to. See, that's what I was saying, and then everyone was like, no, it's never too late for tea. Just do it. Just do it. It's not 9. It will be eventually, supposedly. It's 8:20. See, Cillian says, never too late for tea. Can't believe how much energy you still have at this hour. I can't believe it either. It's all about that Earl Grey with the honey and lemon. I don't like lemon either. Now you can use the line tool in tweak mode and you don't have to put it up against another block in that mode. I know they said that. I tried it and it didn't seem to work. But then Terry Michaels seemed to reference that. I was kidding with you. I was in the channel. Oh yeah, dropped to create an account. Okay, cool. Time zone's backwards. Yeah, it's 8:30 right now in California. I keep wanting to go here where it's like cozy and at least half done. Shift click. Yeah, when I tried it, everything was giving me invalid placement, but Terry Michaels seemed to unsubs. Why would you? No. Besides, joke's on you. I don't have subs. You have to unfollow to get rid of me. Ha. I win. So let's see. So shift click. And, oh, so does it actually let you? Okay, so this, yeah, it wasn't doing this before. Yeah, I didn't do that before at all. Hey! Hey! Come on! Come on! I might be needing a bit of rubicite around 2K. Xander, I can do that. I don't have any elemental rubicite. The patch ate it all. It's all gone. I have like 50 something, but I don't have any more. Oh, I got. Oh. Yes, I know Mecha tomorrow. I know it was because of the lemon. I said that's why I unsubbed, but that's what he knew. Oh, Meg, you could always track down her Facebook account, friend her, and unfriend her. It would be similar to unsubbing. She's yelled at the audience. No, I'm yelling at my cat. She's trying to attack the camera. Only if I want to be totes creepy. Yeah. I guess I could work on some... Kitten! Stop! Put your paw down. No, don't collapse. Come on. Just be awesome. Ow! So now we can also place new voxels in midair so much easier. Yay! Oh yeah, with the line tool? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it wasn't... So what it was doing before is it basically said everything was invalid. I used it in the live version instead of Live 64X. It says X64 release. You need to get your cat a box. She has many boxes. She has a basket. She has many boxes. Maybe just a ball string. She'd die. She's dumb. She'd eat it all. She would eat it all. I'm trying to just break her motor, like whatever she's focused on. I'm trying to break her focus. Get her focused on something else. Put a box near you and your cat will be able to resist sitting in it. This is generally true. That's why I have this basket here. Well, it's not actually why I have the basket here, but it's been a great purpose for it. Forgive me if this is an off-topic. Everything's off-topic. It's fine. Or a little late to bring it up. But I just got an alpha invite. I'm downloading it now. If you've nothing else to talk about, give me a quick rundown. Basically, when you get in game, you're going to get a pick and an axe, and you can turn worse for me. You get a pick and an axe. If you run up, oh, hello. Hey, Xandiver. Basically, when you get a pick and an axe, you can run a little bit away from the spire, which is where you'll spawn in. look like that. Run away a little bit, and you can basically start digging and shopping. Get stuff. And then once you get stuff, you can go back to either the crafting station at the portal or at anyone else's claim and craft stuff. Oh, cool. You just got in, Nebby? Good. Get your cat has balls on catnip, and then you're fine. I feel like I've gotten crappy catnip because she never seems to respond that much to it. Yeah, try running the launcher administrator. That works too. Or helps too. Father Teacher Gamer says, evening era. Seems like you made some progress. Oh, hey, Gamer Dad. Yeah. Yeah, I did some stuff. I worked on the desk. Put in my little clock. Put in some microvoxel shelves. I know they're not like true, like they're not little microvoxels, but they are microvoxels. They're just the like medium-sized ones. And some books with like little book ends. Put in plants. Did a little bit of stuff on the basement. I had these vertical, and then I was shamed into placing the wine bottle sideways, the proper way. So I did these. Figured I had like a little tray of like napkins or something. And then like a little, you know, like with the ice bucket for champagne or something. I don't know, like maybe your cat is already a heavy user. You need heavier doses to work your way up to. Wow. I still haven't figured out what I'm gonna do yet with this. I would put in a fireplace, but I think in a cellar that's meant to store wine, it's probably not the most appropriate thing. Yeah, this place is totally loaded on wine. They're good to go. They are good to go. Whoever lives here, they may or may not have a problem. I request next landmark. Oh, Xander, you want Riverside? Oh, sorry. Oh boy. Who was it saying I wasn't tired? Well, I didn't want your virtual wine to spoil. Yes, I know, Dutch Tiger. Thank you for correcting it. Oh, I have my chat off. That's why I wasn't seeing anything. Oops. I request next landmark.exe. Yeah. A place to chain your slaves? No. No, there will be no slaves. A little puppy bed or something maybe, but yeah, just like a little puppy. Could do like a little doggy home, but then I would need like a doggy, and then I just feel like any attempt to sculpt one is just going to be really scary. Turn that area into one of those X wine racks or a stained glass door effect with wine walls behind it. Wine bottles behind it. I was looking at, where did I have it? I had a picture of wine slipper. Puppy slaves? No, that's horrible. You can't do bad things to puppies. They haven't earned it. Not that dogs have either, but like some drunk puppies. I'm locked out of my game and going crazy. Anyone know if uninstall deletes builds templates? It won't, but the game client they're patching or something, so people are having issues getting in. It's not you. Keep trying. I like how it made the like face for the C drive. You know, it might be just a small new thing, but I love seeing which texture we have selected for building now. Absolutely. Like, I forget all the time, like, do I have freaking obsidian or stucco or whatever selected? And it makes a huge difference being able to build more smoothly. What can I guess I could do like a chest or something, like a I don't know. Mention you had a cat. Have you taken pictures of it with bread around it? No, I haven't. I haven't. She would not permit that. She would not permit that. I don't know. I could do. I wish we had glass. Because I was thinking I could do like a glass fronted cabinet or something, but without the glass, it's going to be sort of unclear, as it were. Yes, unintentional puns. Let's see. Let me see a kitty butt. It's a kitty butt. I'm a little lost. Maybe I'll just start doing the ceilings and say, forget it, I'm just going to use the line tool, even if it's... So, like, you were one of the ones mentioning that. If not the line tool, then how would you do the sloped ceilings? Because I get what you're saying about, or what you and others have said about the line tool producing some jaggies and stuff, which obviously are nice to avoid, at least. But then what do you do with, like, shape blocks? How do you do it? Because I was thinking, I guess you could do it like super old school. It'd be slow to start, I guess, but like you could do it with like I guess you could use the line tool, but then cut out bits and pieces and like mirror them and stuff like that. I don't know if that's kind of, is that on the right track? Because this guy needs the roof. This room needs to be closed in. I did shaped blocks. Sloped 4 voxel blocks. Yeah, but look, okay, but that slope is 45. Like, you can't, it's kind of limited. I don't know. I just do the line tool anyway and just try to get good. What is that? Kind of looks like a groundhog or like a little like hedgehog or something. Like that's its nose. It's like sitting up. You can build it like your stairs and then smooth it. Yeah, Stingery, I've just been... Yeah, I kind of want to avoid using the line tool, but I do want crisp lines. That's the trick. Build a center beam, use the line tool. Yeah, that's the method I had planned on using, so I kind of set up for it. So I got an anchor beam, and then I was ready to go, like going, okay, I'll just do pop, 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 you know, go to the edges. Fine. But, yeah. With add tool and smooth. Okay. I can try that. You know what I'm going to try that? I'm going to try that over here where it's a little bit more, it's just a simple. So Dark Lady also says, if anyone's having trouble getting back in again, tell them to click the installing button fast over and over until it changes to the other color and installs. Work for me. Your mileage, my baby. It's like a bear to me. Yeah, it does look like a bear to me too. So if anyone's wondering what the black colonist outfit looks like, that's what the black colonist outfit looks like. If he can stand still perhaps long enough to see it. Probably not. But build it 1 or 2 voxels bigger. Okay. So build it like ex situ and then put it in. Let's try this. So, okay, so we're dealing with, what's cool, I guess, then is then I can go at any slope, huh? So, if I want it to come up, I'm just going to get the slopes, I guess, for now. So I want it to angle down reasonably, but not ridiculously. Probably here to here, I think. I guess I can use the line tool to get an idea and then just take it down. You will dance forever, Daredevil. I did screw that up. Oops. Oh, she's doing it again. Oh, she didn't bring it to me. See, if she brings me a toy, I am duty bound to throw it for her. The cat. If she brings me a toy, I am duty bound to throw that toy. Like, there's no getting around it. That seems about right to me. Alright, so what slope is that? That's... Dropping channel, download, just completed. Well, have fun in game. Drink more tea. Have fun in game, and if you have any questions, you can just ask me. If I'm streaming, I might not type big long answers, but I'm falling asleep. Hope you finish the roof or get some of it done. Alright, yeah, good night, Cillian. Taking it a little funny tonight. Brewed like really, really mild, like to the point of being like kind of weird. I'm like getting a ton of like pine, like it's very piney, kind of weird. Okay, so what is this? This actual section is 12 wide, and it's going up. So from bottom to bottom, it's going up 6. Oh, so it's like a half step. Nice. Oh, she brought it. She brought it. Okay. Throw it. Throw it. It's like so, like, look at this toy. It's like the most bedraggled toy you've ever seen. Like, there's like nothing left on it. But she loves it. So the problem with the line tool is just, you don't see it quite as much here, although you see it some, not the join here. The join here is alright, but the join on this side, where this plaster meets plaster and plaster meets wood, these are doing some weird stuff. It's just not clean. Can you bring it back? Are you proud? Look at it. Okay. You can see it there, but you can probably see it more strongly over here. Now check out what the line tool did here. See these guys? Now they said that's a bug. They, like, I believe it was Terry who said that that it's a bug. But it's like if you manually deal with if you manually change these, they freak out. They freak out. And sometimes you can grab like a section sometimes you can grab a section that's like out a little bit and like copy and paste it, but not always. Of course, this is going to have some iron with it, but it won't screw it up too bad. Actually, no, that's not what I wanted anyway. I want one out. Yeah. Unfortunately, copy and paste doesn't really deal with those very well. It does in some cases, like I had them on this edge, on an open edge, and that'll help, but not on joints like that. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing with cylinders and arches, and they're working on it. It's not something that they're just ignoring and they're like, oh, it looks good to us. You know, like they get it. It's just that for now, you kind of have to work around it. All right, Kirby. Good luck on your claim. All right. What do I... So it's up 6. So the bottom side needs to be up 6 and over 12. Did you bring it? We'll bring it. We'll bring it then. So actually, probably the easiest way to do this is let's do this. Just copy and paste this sucker and use it as a template kind of, or actually, oops. That way we know we're getting the right height differences and stuff. Can you make that imitation voice again, please? That's the kitten. When I'm talking to kitten, it can't really be replicated. You'll just have to wait till when I talk to her next. Okay. So, oh, let's get a cube then. That's kind of important. I feel like Zod in this black encounter suit. Oh my gosh. Okay. Night, Xander. Actually, we can do this a little smarter here. So that's bottom to bottom. So it should be 1/2, it looked like. So over 2, down 1. Maybe. This is over 12, up 6. So it should be over 2, down 1. has a clean slope. That's handy. That's nice. Nice tea receipts. Like maybe because the tea I'm drinking, it's like a mix of, it's got jasmine balls, and pine, silver pine, and then it's something else. I don't remember what the third one is, but it's, I feel like I got a lot of pine. Like it's pretty intense. Oopsie daisy. Oh, I just like. If you're making a custom soap, make it longer than you need. I was just gonna copy and paste. Should I not do that? You're gonna chop off the ends. It's a bad movie plot. The jug guy is getting revenge by sipping a Mickey in your tea. Hopefully not. I did kind of like look around a little more when I was on my way home, I'll tell you that much. Although, at least today, I mean, he went away in handcuffs. He's not going to do anything, it's just buddies. Maybe I just added too much honey. I don't know. Who is the mag clicker? Did I screw that up? What did that guy do anyhow? He conspired to sell meth. Had like a quarter pound of meth, which is a lot of meth, with intent to sell. He had made over $25,000. It was in the neighborhood of $45,000 that he made. No, 48. Yeah, $48,000 that he had made from meth sales. He was a bad boy. One of those examples, though, that can't judge a book by its cover. I mean, you never would have, like, if you saw him on the street, you would not pick him out. Cannot unhear. All right. I guess I could just I should probably double it up a couple times, because it's okay if it's a little thick. I definitely want a smooth result more than I want a thin result. Oh shoot, I'm not going to be able to copy and paste this. Okay. This is going to be sort of dumb, but it'll work. So, whatever. So quiet. I know, GT. It's because I'm concentrating. It's kind of hysterical that you're saying it's quiet, because I'm normally a chatterbox. I'm just trying to figure out how to do this roof. So I'm working on a slanted roof for my entryway. It's actually for the front door kind of area. Did I just slide that? No, I decided. Cool. And I don't want to use the line tool because of all the weirdness, all the jaggies and weird edges and stuff that you can get. So I'm going to attempt to do it with, there we go, with the, I'm going to try to use the add tool and then smooth it, and hopefully that'll give a better joint. Going to try it. So I'm trying to get the, I got that focus on, that's so true. Got that focus on max. Yeah, I'm sort of experimenting. I haven't done it this way before. I've always used the line tool, but I kind of want to check out another way to do it. So this was better. So what kind of trees is rubicide axe needed for anyway? I think it says on the axe. Let me check that out because I actually haven't really looked at that in detail. Okay, framing coming down here. What's it? 9. Oh, silver axe. This is new. Okay, so the silver axe still says basic trees. Interesting. Rubicide axe, which I probably shouldn't give away all my rubicide, but I can still make that, so I'll be alright. So very special trees. Oh, aren't those the like the not like random drop? Ooh. Focus. There we go. Talk to the hand. Man, how long has it been since you heard that one? Whew. Busting out the oldies. Hey Ed, did you get your dull metal? Did your dull metal get mixed up? Oh, if you have crashes, if you have weird textures, if they're loading in incorrectly, it's probably just that they loaded in incorrectly. So do this. You can either go into the normal menus and change to like windowed or something and then back, or if you want a shortcut, you can do Alt Enter. It'll reload, and see how it's reloading all the voxels. If one is loaded incorrectly, chances are once you reload it, it'll load it correctly. Yeah, gold at the moment, I haven't had trouble cutting down any of the trees. So these are the changes they just implemented last night, which I was looking at, like last night I looked at tweak mode, looked at, oh, the pictures. I didn't show you guys. I made a couple of the pictures. I didn't make all of them. I can show you guys what they look like. There's the forest painting, and check out that default angle. They're double-sided, but they only kind of make sense one way. And then they kind of freak out, so it's probably better to place them in tweak mode. So I'll do that for the other one. So you notice they're coming in. They're kind of wonky. So I'm going to shift click to place it in tweak mode, and it didn't work. But going straight into tweak mode basically lets you walk around and make sure it's all groovy before you set it. And if you make some changes and you're like, I made some changes and I can't even fix what I did, you can just cancel it and it'll put it back the way it was before you enter tweak mode, which is kind of nice. It's sort of like it just saves your initial state, which is convenient. I'm not a big fan of these frames. I'll tell you why. They're not square. They are very kind of oddly shaped, which works really well for sort of the rustic feel, for the stylized feel, but for what I'm doing, it's not. Basically, you can never get it 100% straight, basically. Dreamcuber, I would agree with you. He said that they overcomplicated wood gathering. I'm going to withhold judgment, and the reason for that is just because I have a feeling they did it for a reason. I have a feeling that they're probably going to implement more systems that are dependent on the wood system now. Yeah, the wood system, I can't even, yeah, exactly. I suppose it's groundwork for the future. I mean, it depends on where they take it. If, there could be, like, for example, if new crafting stations that rely on those differences, because at the moment it seems sort of odd, you know, because at this point now there's really no purpose for raw wood at all. So it's why, you know, if raw wood has no purpose, why not just go back to how it was, you know, have planks be, you know, why take away a purpose for something, right? But I don't know. I can only assume that there's going to be maybe some intermediary thing of a way to maybe increase the yield of planks, you know, or something like that, which would, you know, some sort of mechanic that's going to make the conversion from raw wood to plank, make that more important. Because at the moment, literally all it does is time sink, which is why they adjusted it in the hot patch, or in the hot fix, to do, you know, 100 planks per raw wood. You know, because they don't want people in alpha to, you know, are trying to test stuff, you know, they don't want them to have to sit there for 5 hours while their wood converts. So I'd say the reason for an entirely new crafting station, I mean, should there really be 5? I don't have a problem with that, as long as, because if you've seen their, the crafting, the building blocks video on crafting, they've got a really deep crafting system planned. And it sounds like it totally is legitimate to have new crafting tables. In fact, it sounds like there's going to be even another, but not one that's built. There'll be the altar. Like, I don't have a problem with the new thing. It's just, I think it's too early to judge that, is I guess what I'm saying. They changed the wood gathering because people were saying broiled wood was hard to get. Now it's no more trouble. The alchemy station in the future should allow you to make potions. Yeah, like health insurance and such, yeah. I haven't even actually... I should probably work on that. Is that... crafting station, is it here or is it the other one? I just didn't see it. Mystical alchemy station. So it's actually totally makeable right now. I just need heartwood, which is actually not that bad. Selection of mystical tools to make improved potions and other items. 40 copper, do I have that? I could probably get this like pretty quickly. Why is it that farming copper just seems so wrong? Yeah, Dutch Tiger, yeah, Dreamkeeper says, now it takes forever to get heartwood instead. Yeah. Maybe wood gathering would make more sense if there was one large continent and not a bunch of random islands. I mean, yeah, you kind of have to, you gotta take every development with a grain of salt, because obviously we're only, the sirens are at my place, sorry. We're only seeing part of the picture. And they've talked about how much they're going to be changing, for example, resource distribution. You know, so we can judge the system based on what we're seeing now, but that may not even really be valid because it's likely to change. I mean, obviously, you know, you can be like, well, then why judge anything at all? And that's, I mean, yeah, you still got to be able to give feedback and stuff, but I'm going to keep you in mind. I'm going to go see if I can get some, I guess I can go to tier 1 place and get some copper. I should really work on this roof, though. I need to do some roof stuff. Like, my place needs a roof. It's been roofless forever. Which is part of why I was like, well, should I just, like, be like, well, screw it, and just, like, you know, just do some line tool and just be like, screw it, you know. But can't get my neck. I wonder what the new wood chopping mechanics would be. If you guys have seen Voidlust's thread, it was really interesting. She posted a long time ago, like probably first or second week of alpha. And really great graphics, very, very, you know, very much, she definitely thought it out very well. Basically, the premise of it, the basic premise of it was that to make wood chopping more dynamic, similar to chasing, similar to chasing ore veins, right? So just like you have to chase ore through the ground, you know what I mean? Like she basically mapped out sort of an overlay. So like say, you start chopping here, and then, like with maybe the entire tree's green, and then like as you chop it goes red, and you have to get, red, and move and move and move and red line all the way around the tree like you're trying to chop it down. And so that way you have to actually move a little bit. It takes a little bit more concentration, stuff like that. And even for like bigger trees, to make it even more convincing, that you would have to like maybe grapple halfway up and do the same thing up here as well in order to get the whole tree. Kind of interesting, because I mean, like if you notice, like you can mine, or you can mine, but you like whenever you mine, you really kind of got to concentrate. You can listen to stuff while you mine, but it's kind of hard to watch stuff while you mine. At least for me, I know I definitely found that. I know people have said that. But chopping, I want to stand still when I'm chopping. Exactly, chopping, you can pretty much like you can watch anything, and it'll still, like what I'm doing right now. I'm not even really looking. You just gotta, once you find the tree, just don't move your hand, right? So it's sort of like, I don't know, it's very interesting to me anyway. Actually, I'm totally gonna grab that silver because I make so many lights. Make it tomorrow, what's up? Oh! You shall not pass! Oh! He gone. He's so gone. Oh no. Just glitching. There you go. Yeah. Not that bad. Yeah. Oh, cool. Is that the extra? Sweet. That'll get me a little closer to the Riverside Axe, I guess it is. So, that'll help. Tungsten? I don't need tungsten, Mecca. I gave Xander rubicide, and I'm assuming that's where this came from, right? So I didn't give him any tungsten. You don't have to give me tungsten. Whoa! That's okay. By the way, if you want to check my claim, I'm Era's neighbor. You'll find a church in there. And the problem with that system is it's too complex. That's true. Don't think we're going to get that hardcore. Even crafting with stat adjusters is casual. We actually aren't required to make parts for things which is hardcore. I don't know what got changed, but whatever. Thank you. I wanted a chair with an exclamation point. Rick says, I actually had an idea for a change to the wood chopping system, but I've become disillusioned to the alpha input we actually have. Try not to get in that mindset. I know it can be easy. But if we stop giving input, then they're really not going to listen, huh? You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, you still gotta give the input. Take the copper so you don't have to go mine. Well, I'm still gonna have to go mine. I'm still gonna have to go mine. It's maybe not as much. Yeah, I I know, I know, I've noticed what you mean. Like, especially like in the first maybe week and a half of alpha, it seems the level of responsiveness seemed higher than what it is currently, I guess I'll say. But if we just stop giving feedback, that won't help, right? So, and I think that is where we sort of have to fall back and just be like, well, I kind of have to assume that, well, they're probably basing their decisions off of information that we simply don't have yet because it's features that haven't been released yet. I don't know. Yeah, I mean the wood. Like, I'll say this: the wood system, as currently implemented for the current state of the build, is annoying. It's not. It feels awkward. It feels really awkward, and it feels like unnecessarily complicated. But I have to assume that there's going to be some extra, depth into the crafting system that's going to account for that extra, that's going to require that extra step, if that makes sense. Really wanted a Vanguard system or Star Wars Galaxies. I actually didn't play either of those games, so what do you mean? Just deleted rant, doesn't belong here. I appreciate that, Wick. Try to keep it positive, because at the end of the day, we're just having fun playing games. And though I do appreciate it when the devs stop by here, because I think when we've had devs in here, I do think that they've been at least open to hearing what we're saying, and so, and I do enjoy that. But at the same time, at the moment, we're just here to have fun. Father Teacher Gamer says, yeah, DG has already stated, Dave Correction has already stated that the changes to the wood system at this point are only the tip of many changes coming. I haven't been keeping up as much with, like, in the last 2 days when these changes have actually happened, just because of everything that's been going on for me. I haven't kept up as much with Twitter and stuff as I usually do. So I'm glad you pointed that out, because I would have missed it. Star Wars Galaxy equals RNG and crazy, overly complex stat systems. Ew. Hopefully not. I mean, it's always that pendulum, right? It seems like it's pretty frequent. It's kind of a trend in games in general. They'll, maybe err to one side or the other, maybe too simple or too complex, and then players complain, and then they basically swing too far the other way, right? Where we need Goldilocks. I want Goldilocks balancing. Yeah, I never played Star Wars Galaxies, which is odd considering it's a Star Wars game, and I'm kind of I love all things Star Wars, but I heard so early on that people were really disappointed with so many different features of it that I just basically skipped it. I don't know. It is what it is, and light crafting not a deal breaker, at least for me. Yeah, I mean, it's not a deal breaker, and yet now, at least for now, it's not a deal breaker, and so it's sort of, I'm perfectly willing to give them their time. I mean, we're still in alpha. We've got a couple more weeks left of alpha, potentially. Think about the complex crafting system is, they're usually in games that don't focus solely on crafting. I'll buy that, Kristen Wolf. Yeah. How smooth can we get this without it getting stupid? Oh, I didn't. Not very, because I didn't even select the whole thing. I just realized I should have made this bigger on this side. I should have continued the slope, actually. And actually, it would be much smarter to that's not what I'm meant to do. Actually, yes, it is. To do this on like another copy of the sober somewhere and do it. Mobboard says, Sai, this isn't difficult to get resources. I used to have to make extensive redstone inventions to harvest resources I needed to make massive things in Minecraft. This is easy mode. And also, yeah, that's the other thing. They have said many times that they do intend to make massive changes to like the resources required for stuff. Like right now, they have it set pretty high relative to what it's going to be, because otherwise, they're just to add, to kind of stretch content a little bit because it's alpha. Boblord says, I mean, the original EQ punished you. Punished time sync to the max. You haven't begun to grind. If they go the original EQ path, then you'll long for the days when wood was easy. I don't think really any game can get away with that anymore. I don't care what franchise it is. I don't think any game can get away with that anymore. And I think they know that. I mean, that's been a huge trend with, like, literally any game. Any MMO. Where they started more grindy than they are now. That's so weird. Why is it? I don't know. That's not... That would work. So this roof would work if it was made out of a natural material like wood or thatch. Even stone, because it would look weathered. But out of plaster, that just looks bad. Grinding was the death of MapleStory for me. I never played MapleStory. Part of why I liked the original EQ was the difficulty curve kept out the noobs. I felt that way about Eve for a while, and then I realized that there were so many people who probably would have tried it and liked it, if not for the huge learning curve. Which kind of, it's like, man, you're keeping out people who actually probably would be great assets to the game. Or great, additions, rather. Dark Souls, well, not grindy, punishing, and unforgiving. There's a market for it for sure. Yeah, Eve Online market. Yeah, I mean, as far as, like, I never played EQ1, never played EQ2. So, I can't really, I don't know how to compare those, but I have played a lot of, like, of the slightly more recent MMOs that were mostly, like, the Korean grinders kind of stuff, like, where it's just, like, I've done that, and it's not fun. Don't destroy my fond memories, which totally don't hold up to time. I just realized I didn't do what I said I was going to do. Oh well. Screw it! Line tool. I'm doing it. I just want my roof. After all of that, let's just do the freaking line tool. Yep. Alright, so let's see. How do I think I'm still going to go with... Yeah, I think we're still going to go with this. We're going to do... I'm going to seed it over by 3 just so that I can... 2, 3, there we go. So the question is, am I going to be mad that I can't see that beam? That's all I care about. I'm going to say, yeah. People have had to make hand-drawn maps for EQ1 and scan them. It was a different time. I was looking forward to EQ next, going back to that. At last, having content. Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me of, so the cat's like curled up like on the mouse court. Can we maybe find another place to lie down, maybe? Would that be cool, kitten? Cats. Why is that acting like it's a problem? That shouldn't be a problem. That should be a green line. Did I click it wrong or something? Yeah, I must have clicked wrong. So yeah, am I gonna be mad that I can't see that beam? Oh, shoot. Young whippersnappers and their guides and their quick starts and their auto-generated DPS numbers. Get off my lawn, kids. I was playing Project 1999, which is a free EQ-free server, or an EQ-free server, and it's still amazing. I played it for a year and had a blast all this time later. That's pretty hardcore. I'm usually really not a slave to graphics. Like, I'm really not, in general. But I found the graphics in EQ1 just distracting, I guess. Probably because I don't have the context, like I didn't play it before, and so I can't just be like, it's harder for me to sort of separate it and just be like, you know, and just see it as EQ graphics rather than old graphics. Like I can do it with like KOTOR, which does have old graphics too, you know, only a couple years later. And I Hunt Whales, I don't have a Dropbox, no. If you have it, just throw it up on Imager though. You can link it. 15 years old. Oh, I know, Mob Lord. I mean, like I was saying, like KOTOR is also, like I said, it's like 2 or 3 years later. I don't quite remember when it came out. I think it was 2002. Where since I did play that at the time, that one doesn't feel, you know, overly old or anything. I don't know why the tool's freaking out when I... Yeah, why is that freaking out? Are you comfy? Are you comfy, kitten? Are you good? Do you like my mouse pad? When it first came out, it was amazing. If you don't have nostalgia glasses on, it's going to be like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, guys, I'm not trying to knock it. I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just, actually, I kind of like the, kind of like the absence of oof. Don't bite me, don't bite me, don't bite me, don't bite, ow, don't bite me. Bite me. Just go up there. I remember zoning into QH, I'm assuming this is a city, and was like, wow, oh, nostalgia. In 1999, it was a life-changing kind of game. It's the reason there still is an EverQuest brand, reason I'm here, absolutely. I feel that way, like, you know what it is? Here's the analogy. I feel that way when I play, say, Warcraft 3. Or Warcraft 3 is a lot more recent, but I would totally play Warcraft 2. It's just that the resolution on it can't go any higher than something like, I think it maxes out at like 1024 wide. Like it's pretty hard to play. The Gorge was my favorite zone. Nice. Yeah. You know, or StarCraft 1, like I can totally, you know, because I played those when they were current, and now it's just a nostalgia thing, and you can be like, yeah, okay, fine. You're falling. Training to zone, shall say other nostalgic phrases. Someone's gonna be really mad at how I pronounced that, or said it. But that's not how you say it! Because people get passionate, and there's a reason for that. Because, you know, it's all, you know, people have been playing for a long time. I guess I can just like do every other one because this seems to be happening every single time. Which is so strange, but that's okay. King Zorbs, the trains in Runny Eye, and the Runny Eye? Runny Eye's a thing? Runny Eye? The graphics to me aren't what make the game. I can make a game with terrible graphics. I can play a game as long as the content is good. I generally agree. It's just harder to get if you're coming into it fresh without having played it when it was current, so you don't have the added nostalgia effect. It's harder to get into. Like, not impossible, just harder. My level 80 characters are so cheapened now. A couple days ago, they give every single EQ player a level 85 character fully twigged with a flipping dino mount. How do you think I feel about my WoW characters? I remember when I quit playing for a while in Burning Crusade, late Burning Crusade, I briefly considered selling my characters just because I was like, well, you know, I don't have a lot of income sources at that age, and so I was just like, well, you know, these could potentially be worth. They were like maybe worth $700 or $800 a piece because they were so well geared and they were max level at 70 at that point. And so I considered selling them, but I didn't. And then, you know, now you couldn't even like give them away. Like they're not worth anything, you know, which is just, it's hard to. And now, like, you can actually make, I think it's like you get a free 90 now when you start the game, which is pretty, I was surprised they did that. I mean, I guess the game company's going to do everything they possibly can to stay relevant as long as possible. But miss more trains, good lord, I lost 2 corpses in that place. Miss more trains, try Gook trains? Gook? Gook? I know someone's gonna correct me. Shoot. This is hard to do one-handed. I think it's okay that I'm covering up that beam just because you can see it on the underside here. So that's alright. Can I do this? This is gonna be hard. Actually, I've already done that part, so I should be alright. I never actually had any problems in Gook. It just seems so funny. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Thank you. Thank you. That seems so strange. Weird. So, maybe this should not be here. Maybe this should be. Trying to remember what the underwater zone was. No air pockets there. They had an underwater zone in EQ? Nice work, Dave. I like your ambition. You'd enlist in like a group of friends and grant permissions to them so someone could drag your corpse back to you who was standing naked in a corner. Whoa. Golly. Apparently I haven't learned how to drink. let's see. So this should come up maybe one, probably like, actually not quite that much, huh? There we go. Neriac. That sounds cool. Kedge Keep? Kedge Keep? Whew. Got some crazy nostalgia going on in here. We sparked it. We sparked it. Actually, before I do that, let's maybe attempt to do this. Let's attempt, maybe, possibly. Did all right. All right, did all right on the top. Not bad. Not bad at all. Did all right. We did all right. Okay. Now, see, I want to kind of add actually a secondary window up here. Why? Because it needs it. They said if you will have more than 2 attached claims. Yes, we will get more than 2, as GT 498OB said. There we go. And I'll put the door in here. Seems so odd to use these doors just because they're so, like, rustic. Well, I might actually have to shift everything up to get that right. Let's see, which way does this sucker open? Cannot put that there. It's like, nah. Yeah, not only are we gonna get more attached claims, we're gonna get more claims in general. In the sense that we're gonna be able to craft additional claim flags. So there's 2 different controls on it. They specifically mentioned that they'll limit how many flags you can craft, and they will separately limit how many flags you can actually have active, how many claims you can have active. So you can have, you can craft more flags than you can put down, but there's still a limit on how many you can craft as well. And Dave had said they will make a decision on Tuesday whether or not they're going to give us another main claim in next week's patch. I hope they do. I'd like to, there's times where I don't particularly want to work on this cabin, but I do want to keep playing. I've been wanting to work on a sci-fi project, but I don't necessarily want to just stop working on this cabin, you know? So I think the reason it was complaining about placing the door, I wonder if it's That looks to me like it would be 2 voxels. So if it's 2 voxels too thin, I can just shift this all over one, huh? I think the height will need adjustment too. Not too much. And yeah, I know I can skip that step just by shift clicking, but it doesn't always seem to work, so I just kind of gotten a hold of it. Actually, just check which way it opens. Oh, good. So a bunch of guys put 12 claims together by cheating. Oh, yeah, if you have, like, so let's say if this person's buffer zone and my buffer zone, and then like if there were 4 buffer zones that meet in one point, you could do your claims like that, like you could put them all together. And when will we be able to stake our claims next to our friend's claims? I'd like to have a 6-claim unit together with my friend. They mentioned that in the live stream this week. I don't think that's going to be coming for a while. They're interested in it, but I don't think that's going to be coming for a while. You'd have a line of people camping the high-level mobs for 2 hours plus, people in line to kill a baddie when you popped in 2 hours. Jeez. Crazy. They need to turn it off so that, like, for the visitors' permissions. Kind of weird. Like a different, I don't know, different something. So I'm just shifting down all of this, basically, to fit the door. I just noticed my camera was like dancing on my roof. Do I want... Yes, I definitely want to bring that down. Definitely? Definitely. Alright, so I kind of want to put in skylights here, but I think I may refrain. Kind of want to, but... Gosh, everyone's just like going into like nostalgia mode on EQ1. I never played it! I don't know! So Moblord says, right, as I was saying, any original EQ player will never complain about Landmark being difficult in any way. Becca Tomorrow says, I'm working on my medical sociology course and I don't want to log out of the game, so you get roof dancing me. Oh no, I'm not complaining, it's just funny. I'm not complaining whatsoever. want that up. And I'm thinking 2 of these suckers. But like, oh, that worked out nicely. Just need some minor adjustments. Alright, let's make sure you're not tilted funny. Doesn't look like it. Just ever so slightly turned that way. Oh, that banner. I wonder when they start testing EverQuest Next, I would like to see how that game will be compared to Landmark. They talked a little bit about that on the official live stream on Wednesday. Just on the saying that it would be more directed, I believe was the word. Maybe Coda Minot. Maybe. I'm guessing. I'm hoping it'll be not just weapon based. Like, I hope that it will not just be like your different attacks are you can attack with an a sword, you can attack with an axe, and you can attack with a bow. Minecraft style, right? I'm hoping it'll be deeper than that. You know, I'm hoping, and I do feel that they absolutely are going to go deeper than that. You know. But yeah, they are very different games, so you have to remember that, like, the depth of combat, 10, 12 spells on your bar at all times kind of feature, or kind of feeling that you'll get from an MMO, not necessarily going to translate to Landmark, like, whatsoever. Maybe, but that would be redundant, you know. Like, this game is going to be more focused on, exploration and building and crafting and all that stuff. Again, got kind of close. Pretty good. They're taking builds and ideas. Yeah, that's something they did mention. It's certainly not the only connection between the two games, but they did mention, like, if you build something in Landmark that is not just amazing but also appropriate to the universe, right? Like, if you build a great site, this like crazy, like my modern houses, does not apply, right? But like if you build something really impressive and it fits in with the universe they've talked about potentially incorporating it into EverQuest Next, I would consider that a fringe case, though. I wouldn't consider that like the meat and potatoes of what Landmark has got, for example. And yeah, there won't be building in EverQuest Next. Not like this, anyway. And yeah, Landmark is supposed to have features where you can like make dungeons and kind of quests. Yeah. So I'm just pulling back so you can kind of see where we're going with this so far. Working on a cabin, but a modern one. Because I moved out here to Old Growth Forest, which it's my favorite time of the game day. It's sunset, which is just gorgeous in Old Growth Forest. The lighting is just really incredible. So I'm trying to kind of incorporate this idea of like the almost latticed woodwork in several places. I've got it kind of going on. The path needs some work. I kind of pulled back from it just because I was working on it and I need to kind of go back and edit a bit just to kind of it got a little out of control. but I do need to go back, but it is kind of meant to evoke, you've got these different size rectangles and stuff, kind of meant to evoke this. Same thing with the, if you go through the kitchen, which I've done some work on this today, redoing the materials here in the kitchen. If you go through here, whoop, onto the patio, and down here, which I actually meant to take these down, they weren't meant to stay up. Although if you wanted to look at the paintings, that's what they look like, the new ones that they just added. Like I added it here, this like sort of lattice feel, but just in a different way. So I'm trying to kind of incorporate the same ideas but in different ways, and I don't know, we'll see. Are you telling me Era's avatar is made with the tools we use? Avatar? Like my what? Iampo also said, let's be honest, EQN world, like all EQ, is huge and requires a massive amount of work to fill it up. Yeah, it's going to take a while. Cody Minat says, the way EQNL will work is there will be an instance and in-game of EQNL players that will have an option to choose from a list of player-created versions. I'm not sure. I don't remember them detailing it quite that way. But yeah, what do you mean by my avatar? I'm not quite sure what you meant by that. Yeah, I am Paul's mentioned there's a great 30-minute EQN release video that explains this. I think that's the one that I kept referring to, where it came out a while ago, like several months ago. But it was pretty exciting. EQN requires voxels, and it was so fun they made it into a game, and Landmark was created for EQN. But it's also meant to be a standalone game. It's not just for EQN. Jim Curry says, sure, but the export stuff they make into Landmark, they already said people will be able to create props in Maya Blender. Yeah, that's true. And be sold on Player Studio. Yeah, that's true. And that's echoed again more recently in the updated like business plans that Dave posted, like maybe last week. Yeah, it's not just voxels. I think we were unofficial interns learning the system to help fill that world. Kind of. Sort of. Hey, Wolfie. Good evening. If you're talking about my clothes, I didn't make that. It's one of the new things you can buy in the marketplace. It's one of the new outfits. I just noticed this one looks like a bumblebee. Right? It's a Victorian bumblebee. Yeah, like I got... Oh, that's kind of interesting too. I wish they showed it on both female and male though, because they do look very different. But I'm wearing the White Colonists outfit. So this is the black version here, which is good. But I'm doing White Colonists and countersuit. That's mine. There's a whole bunch of different colors and stuff, and they finally fixed the icon so it looks like what it is. Yeah, they just added the marketplace. If you get into game and you can't see it, it's a black screen. Close the game and reopen it, but run the launcher and then run it as administrator. It'll usually work. scene, and I'm interested to see how the station cash prices level out. I'm guessing I'm guessing there'll be some some movement on these. I think at the moment, $8 to $10 for an outfit is kind of gnarly. Like, I think it could be $5. I don't know. Yeah, birthday, that's cool. It's Aridia, Aradih. D-I-A-H. There you go, D-I-A-H. I can't spell my own name. Man, I'm dragging even with the T. I'm just starting to get tired. The music at the intro screen now was the loading screen for EQ, but the new one has been spruced up. Yeah, they composed a new one. I forgot the name of the guy, but they did do a whole new one that's just based on the theme. Or based on one of the themes, rather. Yeah. But that song is etched in my brain in a deep level. It's funny. Oh, that's another thing. It just reminded me of it. If you press period, it'll toggle walk mode, which it's kind of a strut at the moment. Like, I'm guessing that's probably going to be refined a bit. I hope that's going to be refined a bit. I think what it is normally when you're walking, knees kind of not knock, but they sort of. That's why, like if you're wearing jeans, you can hear, you hear the oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All the friends. So many friends. I love it. You can see your name on the top left corner. Yeah, you can. It's just hard to read. But yeah, you can. It's right there. I guess if I get on there, you can see it right there. She does look like she's not used to walking. Like she's like stressed out or something. Or actually, you know what that strut reminds me of? It's like, I don't know, like if you're walking into a room where you're expected to be like more athletic or more, I don't even know, more than you are, and so you're trying to like, yeah, Adric, I just now got it. I don't know. When did you send it? It was a long time ago. But at least what's good about this is, let's say if you go into first person. Oh. What's good about this is it gives you a really, really smooth. It lets you pan really smoothly. Which if you're doing videos, you can do this. And then you can speed it up if you want to. But, you at least get it really smooth. Which was hard to do before. Yeah, there's a 30-second delay on Twitch. Yeah. So everything that you guys say is responding to stuff I did like 30, 40 seconds ago. Here's a little more, but yeah. That's nice for videos and stuff. So someone said these change colors, so that's definitely really orangey right now, like pure orange. I agree. That one, I saw that picture on, I think it was on one of the, didn't you put it, wasn't it on one of the, didn't Dave Dorchin tweet it or someone tweeted it? Looks really good. I think that would, it's appropriate in terms of like, it fits the feel of the game enough that you could do it. Oh, I feel like, hey, oh, excuse me. No, you're in the past, Mob Lord. You're in the past. Yeah, Eric, you've been able to like request friends forever, like since the first week. Just didn't do anything. Like you couldn't get the You wouldn't see anything for it. Excuse me. Her response about the past is in the past and is about the future. No. Just a few more parts of my engines are complete little by little. Oh yeah? Do you have any Vipers in there yet? That guy's sorry. Sorry. Throckmorton, don't say that. I'm not getting sick. I had my sick this year. Sick happened already. No. I was sick in January. I was like the sickest I've been in years, like ever. I don't. No. It's allergies. Not getting sick. That's not okay. I cannot. Yeah! Wiggle, 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 yeah! Oh. Say 7 Envy. Why are you out-owing? What's up? Sickness comes from public places like airports and courtrooms. Don't say that. No. No. Not okay. Hey, you want a lamp and a vase for your builds? Oh, are you talking about that vase? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I have that screenshot. Maybe. That vase was pretty awesome. I could probably totally use that vase. Allergies can weaken your immune system enough, though, and cause you to get sick. Crashes, if... I've got enough stuff working against my immune system, right? You know, like in general, like on a day-to-day. I'm going to keep up the positive thoughts. I'm going to keep up the... cast this Zog's healing spell. Nerdy to text this, but what the heck? Nah, you're good. I appreciate it. I feel healed. Yeah, I gotta keep up the positive thoughts because I'm not allowed to get sick. I can't get sick. All right, cool night. Probably after the stream, which it is 10:01. I have been streaming for 4.5. How long have I been going? 5 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I'm getting pretty. This no sicking. There's no sicking allowed. Yeah, Dutch Tiger. No, I'm with you. I'm gonna go to bed too. I'm getting tired. No longer processing correctly. All right. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, guys. And I'm gonna go, but I will be back tomorrow morning, and we're gonna be resuming our normal schedule. We're gonna be doing Monday through Thursday and Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific for EQN. Other games, when other games happen. All right. So yeah. So thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, hit the follow button. That way, I'll let you know when I'm streaming. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. All right. Good night, guys.